Okay, children. So we have started with the process of socialization yesterday, and the definition of socialization is what? That in this we acquire certain knowledge, certain skills, certain dispositions which enable us to participate as effective members of groups and society, right? And we also have discussed the process of enculturation. So it is totally different from enculturation. In enculturation, what we are doing, we are not deliberately learning something. But in socialization, yes, there is a deliberate effort by all of us to understand, to learn something, and we also want to participate as effective members of groups and society. And for that, what is required? Proper socializing skills. Now, socialization forms the basis of social and cultural transmission from one generation to another. As we discussed about the cultural transmission, so in that process, socialization is playing a very important role. It even formed the basis of all these social and cultural transmission from one generation to another generation, right? Now, the second thing we have discussed that as we all are human beings and we have a very developed brain and we have a vast learning capacity. But due to situations or due to our surroundings, and there are many other factors, we never realized our potential. But if we are able to learn two languages, if we are speaking two languages right now, for example, we are even capable of learning many languages and to use them effectively. But what happened if in a particular situation two languages are sufficient, you are getting your things done by using these languages, we never put our efforts. We never, you used to take that pain in learning other languages also. This is just an example of a language, but there are many other skills which we are capable of learning. But usually what happens, we never take that pain to understand or to learn the things. Now, next important feature of socialization is what? The probability of our behaving in a particular way is greatly affected by people who relate to us. Now, who those are people which are related to us? If I say there are many socialization, socialized agents are there. Now, who all are they? Socialization agents means they are your parents, they are your teachers, they are your friends or peers, and media is also playing a very important role nowadays. It has also become a socialization agent. So our behavior is greatly affected by all these socialization agents because these all are related to us in some way or the other. Anyone who possesses power relative to us can socialize us. Such people are called socialization agents. These agents include parents, teachers, and other elders who are more knowledgeable in the ways of their society. Under certain conditions, however, even our age peers can affect socialization. See, our parents, teachers, or any elder, they play as a role of socialization agent because they are more experienced than us, they are more knowledgeable, right? So we used to learn many things from them and they teach us in some way or other in our daily life. There are many instances, there are many episodes in which this two-way process goes on. But what they are saying, in some occasions or at some point of time, even your age peers also can play a very important role of a socialization agent. If I say that your best friend or any of your classmates is also teaching you something, right? Whether it is related to a life lesson, whether it is related to your syllabus, but in a way that person is affecting your behavior. Sometimes we always, try to learn good things from bright students. This happens generally. We always try to get good marks like other students. We always try to, answer in a very good communicative way like other students are doing. So in a way, our age peers, that means the peers of your age, same age group, they are also teaching you in a way, and you are also learning many things from them, right? Now, the process of socialization is not always a smooth transition between the individuals and the socialization agent. See, whenever there is a learning and teaching process, it is not always a smooth transition between the person and the socialization agent. Why? Because it sometimes involves conflicts. It sometimes involves difference of opinion, right? As a person, maybe you are not, agree with some of the beliefs of your parents. They want to teach you certain things, but you do not agree, right? Your teachers want to teach you discipline, but sometimes you don't understand the things or you don't want to follow that behavior. So there is a state of anxiety, there is a state of stress, there is a state of conflicts, right? In such situations, not only are some responses punished, but some are also blocked by the behavior of others in effective ways. What happens if you are not follow the rules and regulations of the school, right? So what you get punishment, right? You got punished by your teachers, and in this way your indisciplined behavior is blocked by giving that punishment. So this is related to the punishment, but the other way around, the other side is of reward. If you are performing or if you are showing good behavior, an acceptable behavior, so you are also getting the reward for that. You always get appreciation, you always praised by your elders, your teachers, whenever you perform, good things, whenever you show good behavior, whenever you behave in a very mannerful way, right? So all these things are rewarded also. So in the process of socialization, what is happening, for some deeds, for some tasks, for some of your activities, you are punished, but for other things which are acceptable, which are good, you are also getting rewards. Rewards even can be in a monetary form, also can be in some object form also. In school, you get certificates, you get trophies, right? You get medals. So all these things are what? This is a kind of reward which motivates you, which encourages you to do good and acceptable behavior. So the process of socialization is not always a smooth transition, means that sometimes it involves conflicts also, right? Now, what is the next thing? Socialization, although primarily consists of deliberate teaching. See, I just told you that it is different from enculturation, right? So whenever we say that socialization is a process which is deliberate, so it is just behaving in an opposite manner, because enculturation is a process which is not at all deliberate. But in socialization, yes, there are deliberate efforts made by us to understand or to learn anything which is available in our surroundings, right? When we say that socialization is not unidirectional, there is a line which is saying that socialization process is not unidirectional. What does it mean? That it is not going into only one direction. Why? Because suppose, see, this is socialization agent and this is an individual. So the process is two-way. The socialization process is influencing the individual, right? And the individual is also influencing the socialization process. So it is a two-way kind of communication, or it is a two-directional process, but it is not a unidirectional. That means only socialization is not always that determines or affects or influence human behavior. Now, what could be the example to make this understand? See, whenever, if I say in your class, 50 students are there. Suppose 50 students are there in your class. and all, in a class there are 9 to 10 groups are there, right? It may be increased in number, it may be decreased in number, but there are certain groups in your class, right? But it totally depends upon you that which group you want to join. You always select friends which are similar to you. Mainly it happens, see, this is generally a human tendency that we always, try to do the friendship with the people which are similar to us in many ways. But it happens, if there are exceptions also, we sometimes also prefer students those who are opposite to us. Suppose if I'm very reserved, I'm a very introvert kind of girl, I do not speak a lot, but I used to prefer friends, I used to prefer girls or boys which are very talkative, which are very good in communication skills, which are very smart, which are very extrovert. So I always seek to do friendship with these kind of person, because there is a opposition between the tendencies, right? So it is very rare, but generally what happens, we always tend to do friendship with people those who are similar to us, right? So this depends upon you totally, that which group you want to join. So this is the way you are affecting the socialization process. This is your wish, this is your this is your, you know uh, wish that you want to join a particular group which are prevailing in classes. There are many groups. Into those groups there are, many kind of persons who are different in personality, but you join only that group in which you feel comfortable, right? So this is the way how we as individuals are influencing the socialization process, right? The next thing is the process of enculturation and socialization involve learning from other people. What is the similarity between the two processes? In both the processes, we are learning some things from other people, right? In the case of socialization, the learning involves deliberate teaching. Again, the deliberate word has came. In socialization, there is deliberate learning, there is deliberate teaching. In the case of enculturation, teaching is not necessary for learning to take place. See, a very good difference is there, that in case of enculturation, teaching is not necessary for learning to take place, because we are simply observing other people and we are learning the things. But in socialization, we proper, if you want to learn something, suppose you want to get education, you are joining a particular school, you are studying in a particular class, right? You are passing certain exams to get promoted to another class. So there is a proper process. If you want to, yesterday I have given the example, suppose you want to learn how to play a guitar, right? For that you have to join certain hobby classes, certain institution to get, skilled into that hobby, right? Into that field. So socialization, learning involves deliberate teaching, but in case of enculturation, teaching is not necessary for learning to take place. Enculturation means engagement of people in their culture. Since most of the learning takes place with our engagement in our culture, socialization can be easily subsumed under the process of enculturation. See what they are saying, enculturation particularly means that we are very much get involved in our culture. There are many things happening at our house, there are many things happening in our school. So we are just observing them and we are learning them. We are, try to, or we also start behaving into certain manner. For some things we are even not aware. Maybe just to take an example, maybe start supporting racism, right? But on a conscious level you are not able to aware of the thing. Maybe you follow casteism in certain manner, that you prefer doing friendship with certain caste, you don't prefer doing friendship with other caste. So these things from where you are learning, by observing your elders, by observing the other agents in the society. So this is the thing which happens in enculturation. You are just unconsciously learning the things sometimes, and you people are not aware of those things. If somebody noticed and somebody says you to follow casteism, now you always do discrimination between the caste. You may say, no, I don't do such things, but yes, you are showing some kind of behavior which really support casteism, right? This was just an example to make you understand. Now, the last feature of socialization is what? A good deal of our learning involves both enculturation and socialization. When we talk about a proper learning or a good learning, this learning involves both the process. What are the processes? Enculturation and socialization. How come? Language learning is a good example. Suppose, let's take an example again of a language. It is a good example. While a lot of language learning takes place spontaneously. If we talk about our mother tongue, this learning, happens very spontaneously and very automatically. We are not aware. We just learned many things and we all of a sudden started speaking. Nobody taught us. We just hear the thing and we start speaking in the same manner, in the same language, right? But there are certain languages, or in a particular language also, suppose say if you are very fluent in speaking English, let's take an example, right? But you are not very much good in grammar. So for the grammar, you have to take proper classes, you have to read proper books. So there is a language, English, you are able to speak it, but you are not able to apply the grammar rules properly. So for that, you have to learn the things deliberately. By hearing, you are able to speak this language fluently. What happens with the tourist guides? You all have observed the tourist guides, right? Whenever you visit some places, what they explain you or how they speak, they just learn it by hearing others or by seeing some audios or videos. There is not a proper kind of learning teaching process generally. So they just learn it by hearing the things. And in the same manner, they just make you explain in a very interesting manner. And you can notice that there are a lot of grammatical mistakes done by those people, but the fluency is really commendable. So this could be the example you can give. If we talk about different language also, suppose Hindi and English, you are very good. But if you want to learn French or if you want to learn German, for that you have to take proper classes, you have to cover a proper syllabus. So this is a very general example of language learning, which is involving both the processes, enculturation also and socialization also, right? Yes, ma'am. We can end up with the class, with the recording, sorry. Ma'am, can we end up with the recording?